Okay, welcome to Williams Garage here. Got Mama's car parked in here right here, 2008 Buick Lucerne. And what we're going to do for this car here, as you can see, I'm trying to pan around a little bit here, get used to using my camera. It's in pretty good shape. We try and keep it in good shape. Well, what I'm doing today is, well, one of the few things that I really need to be doing to the car. Uh, Right now she's got okay, it's an aftermarket stereo system. There's a 5-channel amp in the back, and we've got Infinity speakers in the rear deck, 6x9s, and I think it's 4x6s or something like that. It's a circular speaker here in the doors. Well, there's an aftermarket Kenwood deck right here also. I can show you that a little bit later. So here's the deal. The passenger side speaker has been giving her a lot of problems. And I troubleshot it a little while ago. I started in the trunk and looked and checked all the wiring back there on the amp and all that. And somehow it's getting a signal, but it just sounds horribly scratchy, like there's a bad connection. Tore the door all off on the inside, cleaned everything up with electrical cleaner, re-stripped the wires, reattached everything, and still I had the same problem. Now, these are Infinity aftermarket speakers. I've never had a problem with these in the past, okay? So, there's a first time for everything. And remember, this is a 2008. We bought it in 2009. So right around that time frame, we paid a lot of money for a crappy install on the aftermarket, on the stock speaker system for an aftermarket system. Okay, long story with that. That be a topic of another video about how you can find yourself a good installer. We did not find a good installer. Okay, so I rectified that situation. So right now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show you what we got as far as the speakers, the aftermarket speakers and all that, and begin to tear down the doors. Okay, so here we have the speakers themselves. These are top of the line, uh, Infinity Kappa series, if you will, 6.5 inches. Check out the grills. They're really beautiful and all that, but there's a really good chance that we won't be able to use these, and I'll show you why in a minute. So yeah, you do pay for a lot of stuff that you may not need. I may need these rings. I don't know, because basically the current ones are just basically screwed into the sheet metal of the door using these particular holes and tabs and all that. I think I got screws in here too somewhere. So I mentioned some of the hardware that came with the speaker I probably would not be able to use. I'm going to show you why. As you can see right here, when you have cars like this, and most of them are this way, you can't do anything but use the speaker grill that actually came with the car right here. These doors right here, there's a certain method of doing things. And if you ever have to tear a door apart, just go to YouTube and try and figure out what's going on. Because I tell you what, a lot of times you can feel your way through all that, and other times you cannot. There are connectors, if you will, plastic and some metal. Metal clips back here, plastic all the way around, down here on the door, up underneath, and coming back around over here. And this is where I get my start right here. So we'll get into that right now. In order to get the door off, basically there's a little panel right here that you need to pry off. And you can see mine's a little well worn because the door's been on and off several times. I hate that. I need to get some sandpaper and sand that down. I pop that off, and there's a 10mm bolt behind it. I just use a nut driver to take it off. And then after that, I'll be ready to actually begin to pop, literally. So what you do, you pop the plastic fasteners in order to remove the door. Okay, now I know you can't really see this from back where you are, but basically I'm just doing what I said I was going to do there, and it comes right out pretty easily. After that, I just grab the nut driver here and remove one screw. Okay, here she comes. And it's just right here. That's all it is. All right, put that aside. Okay, I'll be using some of these. It's a plastic set. You can see right here. It's all made for not scratching things up and all that. And they're kind of somewhat specialized to some degree. I mean, you'd want to use a narrow one for something narrow like this, of course, you know. This one's got a lot of use on it. It's kind of scarred up. You probably can't see that. So at any rate, I'm going to grab something like, let's say, oh, this guy right here. I'm going to try to begin to pry the door panel off. Also, because there's a lot of connectors underneath here, there's a mechanical cable that goes in here that mounts to the door, and then you got your door locks and things of that nature. So, And also there's probably some electrical running up to the power mirror. So what I want to do is just support it so it doesn't have a lot of strain on it. It's pretty hardy, actually. It can handle a lot. This is just to support the door. That's all it is. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this old Amazon box here. And kind of like shove it underneath here. I like to put it at an angle a little bit. And what I'm going to do next is put this in here like this and try and pop some of these out. You should be able to hear it. Okay, there's one. There's another. One of the things I find I have to do is keep my hand there to keep the gap. Okay, so you see how that's working. You see how that's working basically. I'm going to go ahead and just go ahead and get the rest of these off and show you what it looks like inside the door. Okay, so you see now that the door is separated. It's supported by the Amazon box. I'll show you a couple of things here right quick. All right, well, this right here, number one, this little grommet right here needs to go back in there. It popped out. But at any rate, here you have a cable here that allows you to actuate this, which is your door handle. And over here, like I said, there's some wires here. This is not a big deal. This is going up to your power mirror. No problem. Okay. This right here, this wire bundle right here, as imposing as it seems, is actually going down to this panel right here. So I don't want to stretch them too much. Now, you see right here, there's a speaker down there. Okay, there it is. And that's the one that's bad. But I got to replace them in two pairs, so I got to do this same procedure as far as removing everything to the driver's side door. One of the big problems is trying to get, if you see these two white dealies right here, there's a couple of metal prongs that fit. They're attached to the door on the inside of the door. You got to get those in there. At the same time, you got to line this up with it, your door lock. At the same time, you have to align, see if I can show you. See those yellow spikes? And then there's some white ones. Well, they all go into receptacles like this right here. They all go into these right here. And you got to line everything up perfectly, because if you don't, you'll bust them. And you'll bust them fast, and the parts are hard to find. I happened to find a box of them on Amazon. When I went back to order some more, guess what? They were gone, but I had still plenty. So if you're Harry Houdini, you could do this like in a matter of seconds. But the chances of you busting off some of those connectors is really high. Okay, well, here it is. Maybe a little bit out of focus, forgive me for that. And if you keep pulling out, you'll come out with this dealie here. What happens is, that is got your positive and negative connectors. And what you're seeing next, that's a factory connector right there. So all I'm going to do is, I probably won't show it. This is my first video outing, if you will. So I'm going to disconnect it. It's a quick disconnect, basically. And then I'm going to go ahead and attempt to hook up the new speaker and try and put something on the stereo to see if that scratchiness is still there. If it is, I've got a lot of work to do. Okay, folks, I want to show you something here that I found very, very interesting. And these are the new speakers, and these are the old speakers. You notice anything different? Yes. Your eyes do not deceive you. There's a whole infrastructure worth of stuff here on this old speaker that's not present on the new version of the Infinity Kappa brand here. So here's what I'm going to do. This is what I thought I'd have to do. I thought I'd have to cut off the factory wire. Let me pan down if I can. Try and get some light in here too. And what you're seeing right there, see that wire hanging out right there? All right, I thought I'd have to snip that off and then strip the wire and then connect it to these brass terminals here. I do not. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cheat. I'm going to go ahead and use this adapter here from the old system and use those black and white wires to screw into this. And that'll save me a lot of time and effort. Okay, so I temporarily put everything together, and basically it's just hanging by this long screw right here and some Gorilla Tape down at the bottom, just to go ahead and just test it out, see how it sounded. And right now I'm not getting any scratchiness out of it. Again, I think I mentioned it before, it will be the first set of Infinities that ever went bad. So, hey, first time for everything. It sounded pretty good, except for I got some issues here that have absolutely nothing to do with the replacement there. You can see the Kenwood deck right here, and way over here you can see there is, see if I can get it, that light right there is a subwoofer. It's a lot of focus, sorry about that. It's a subwoofer control, and I need to turn down the gain in the amp because I think it's pumping way too much bass. So I'll get on that right now. I'll show you what that's about. Okay, as promised, we're back here in the trunk area. Oh, it definitely needs a little bit of cleaning here. But what you're looking at here is a JL audio sub. It's a 10-inch right there. And behind it, you're going to see the amp right here. And it's a 510 lamp. So let me go ahead and see if I can get this thing unsecured for a moment so I can show you what's going on. Okay, you pull all that out of the way. It's 510 lamp. If you're not familiar with that, what it is an all-in-one solution. It'll run front speakers, your rear speakers, and it'll also run a subwoofer. What I'm looking at right here right now is this right here. That's a gain. This gain right here, I think it's a wee bit too high because the controller that I showed you, it really starts pumping out a whole lot. It's not really distorted necessarily, but I'm gonna go ahead and fix it. Okay, and I don't know what you can hear or not, but it's kind of running kind of soft right now. I don't want a whole lot of noise back here. I'm gonna crank this gain back down a little bit. Let's say right about to here. And I'm gonna go ahead and give it a sound test, just my ears, make sure everything's going good. Lori loves her bass, but too much imbalance with the music. You can have a lot of bass. Everything's gonna be balanced out. You need your front speakers doing what they need to do, your rear speakers, etc. Speaking of which, here are some Infinities right here that we got a couple years ago. Had those installed. Kappa. Kappa's the best top of the line that you can get for Infinity, so she's running Kappas all the way around. Like I said, Mama loves her sound. She deserves the best, and that's what that's about. Sounds good. Okay, so what I wanted to demonstrate was what I did with the gain. Turn the gain down because of the response from the controller that I just showed you a little while ago, right about there with the light on, and it was just a little bit too sensitive. So crank the gain down, and then I bumped up just a little bit over here the bass to a 2, so that all the speakers can get a bass. What you want is your sub to put out all your bass, but with this right here, what it did was it enhanced the sub and tone things down at the same time, because you got a lot of area over here to play with. That dial goes all the way. It's just craziness. So yeah, this is the kind of setup I have in my van. I've got, like, oh gosh, there are 6 each 6x9s, 2 facing to the rear, 2 facing to the front, 4 facing to the rear, and then I've got 5x7s in my doors, and I've got 3 10-inch subs. The sub you saw back there, I've got 3 of those in the van. And yeah, I'm a sound nut. I'm really blessed that I still have any of my hearing left. But we both love our music, and like I said, Lori deserves the best. So she had a problem with her speaker. I want to go ahead and try and square it away. So I've got to do the same thing to the other side. And guess what? I'm not even close to done, because I've got to drill holes and all that other stuff and put this thing back together again. So basically, you get a gist of what's going on, and it's been kind of fun making the video. I've learned something. Hope you have too. And this is Williams Garage signing out.